Hello and welcome to the Penfriends podcast. My name is Caitlin.
And I'm Becca.
Wow, hello from the void.
I know.
From once we used to. It's nice to see you. It's literally been weeks since we've even talked. We've just been so busy. You are at the end of your school year. I was doing a show that was insane. So, yeah, just a lot of stuff going on.
I don't get summers off anymore. I work year round. So I'm not at the end
I
of
forgot
anything.
that you were at a different place. So, the summer, do you have smaller groups during the summer? Like, is it the same just throughout the year?
Yeah. So in June, we transition the kids that we have now to the next room, and then we get a new group of kids. And then in August, they transition again. So we only get this group for like a couple months.
Oh, okay.
Which is weird, but whatever.
That's interesting. Yeah, I keep forgetting that you're not. Oh, excuse me. I keep forgetting that you are a different place and not the place where you get summers off. Well, I still want to come and visit you before I go up to Traverse City to do my job.
Yeah.
So I leave in like the middle of June, so we have plenty of time. I'm sure there's a weekend where all of us can come up and hang out and stuff. But you should come down here and visit sometime too with Josh, because there is a place that my friends and I have been hanging out at. We hung out there twice this week. I'm not even kidding you. We made friends with the owner on our first day that we all hung out there. It's called Crepes and Games, and it is exactly what it sounds like. You can eat some fucking good-ass crepes, and you play tabletop games. And we played for like 5+ hours each time we went.
Yeah.
And the owner played with us to explain the games with us, and he's a really cool dude. I didn't get to meet his wife. His wife left before I got there one day, but they're trying to open up a second location, and they would really like to open locations across the U.S. is his dream. So this first one's pretty good.
That's so cute.
It's a fun concept. But yeah, you guys should come down and visit whenever you can.
Totally.
Yeah. What's the newest thing that just ended? Little Mermaid. I just finished Little Mermaid.
Ooh.
With the middle school, and I'll have to show you pictures when they're uploaded, because they're fucking adorable. And I'm real proud of my mom and I, because it was like 80 kids, 70 or 80 kids in the cast, because she only does at the middle school, the show, she only does it like every 2 years, and she wants to bump it to every 3 years. So like the 6th graders have, I forgot what I did in 6th grade. I think we did like a little tour around Christmas time, and then 7th grade there was the magical dinner that we did around Christmas time, and then in 8th grade you would have your musical. So I think she wants to like split it up, like every year you would be able to do something, but it's kind of hard to make that transition to 3 years, because there would be inevitably one group of students not doing it. But there were a good group of kids. Normally when I work with middle schoolers, a lot of them don't get theater, I say in air quotes, you know what I mean? It's like most of the time it's their first show, and they don't really understand, like, this, like, I'm trying to think of even some examples, just kind of like naggy things, like, or they don't get the concept that, like, it's just my mom and I working on this stuff. So they would give us a note one day, and we're like, okay, it's a really small note, and then the next day we don't have it done. We have it marked in our head like we need to get it done, but there are people who don't even have costumes yet, and that's more important. But they don't know that. So then they like come back to us and ask, did you get that done? And we're like, nope, not yet. We don't have it done yet. We're gonna come and find you. Don't call us, we'll call you situation. Like there are just some things that, and like none of them had quick changed before, and Ariel had like 3 quick changes in 6 minutes at the end of the show. It was like boom, boom, boom. Because she had to turn from a human to a mermaid to kill Ursula, and then back to a human to get married, and she was really panicky about that, and rightfully so. And so, she was a 6th grader. This was probably her very first lead role. But we're like, girl, we're gonna get it. Like, we have 2 weeks to get this down. They had like 2 weeks of dress rehearsals, and these things come together, and it did come together, and it was great. And I saw my ex-boyfriend's family at the
that's what you
show.
Texted me, and I was like, oh.
So I obviously don't have a lot of problems with the family. I mean, his mom is like a little, she's never gonna listen to this, so I can say that. but it never was towards me. It was really towards him. Although she sometimes blamed me for his behavior and thought I had more control over him, and that's not the kind of person that I am. He was
It was
definitely his
like
own
the
person.
opposite.
Right, yeah. So, yeah, it was exactly the opposite, Becca. So I was looking around. We had like a line of like 10 seats we were saving for my entire family coming out of town. I was with Jeremy, and I was looking around in the back of the theater because you come in from the back, and I saw his stepdad, and I fucking ducked. I was like, what the heck are they doing here? Because his little brother's a seventh grader, but he goes to the other middle school. He
Yeah.
doesn't even go to that
Right
middle school.
here.
And I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. So I had to stand up, and thank God he wasn't there. It was his little brother and his mom and his stepdad. And the little brother came up to me, and he was like, hi, and I was like, oh my gosh, you're so big. Like, I don't, like, it's been 5 years, and he's in 7th grade, and so he would, he was like, I'm doing all right, I'm playing soccer, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then I didn't think the mom was going to come up to us, but she came up to Mom and I during intermission. She was like, I saw the costumes, and then I immediately looked in the program, and I was like, who did the costumes? And it was you two. And so it was like, she said we did a really good job, and she was excited for me to go and do stuff. And I was like, cool. I'm gonna forget all of the stuff you said when I broke up with your boyfriend. Well, when your boyfriend broke up with me, and then there was all that stuff, but that's okay. And I didn't even ask about him, and she didn't mention him.
Good.
And that was the right answer. I was like, if I don't ask, I don't care. Because that's what I was going to say to her. I was like, I didn't ask about Evan. Ooh, I said his name. It's okay. No one listens to this.
No one cares.
From that era of my life. All right, it's your turn to talk. Obviously, I'm having coffee, and I'm, like, buzzed right now. So.
No, you're fine.
Tell me about you. What have you been up to? You went to a concert last night.
Yeah, I went to a concert that was pretty fun with Allegra, Linden, and Kristen. And Kristen's daughter, which was like super adorable because she's 7. Aww. And she's like the cutest little thing ever. And I like know one of the guy's songs because it's on the radio, but I don't know like any of his other songs. But he has a song called My Girls Night Out. And so her daughter, they like made her a shirt that said My Girls Night Out, and then she had a sign that said, it's my girls night out, will you take a selfie? And they like put her over because we were right up by the stage. And when he finally started, like 3 hours into us being there, which is like, okay, we're over 2 opening acts. Like, bye. We want Russell. Kristen lifted her up and was like sitting her on the guardrail thing, and a security guy came and like picked her up and put her on the other side. But he came down off the stage, but he didn't take a picture with her. Because then like people started pushing towards the rail, so I think he just made like a split-second decision not to do that, which was unfortunate because she was falling asleep like all night. She was so exhausted. But it was still a really good time. And then I have another concert in a couple weeks because I'm a concert person now, apparently, and a hockey game on Monday because I'm a hockey person now.
You did go to a hockey game.
I've been at 2 hockey games.
I don't even. It's been a few weeks and I don't know you anymore.
I know. Who am I? Who is she?
Did you enjoy the hockey?
Yeah, I really like hockey. Go on.
No. Jeremy loves hockey, so next time there's
okay.
Well, it's actually not hockey season anymore, but
well, we're in the playoffs right now, so.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, just the local teams. Not like any of the big. I don't know anything about hockey. Like I don't know any of the players. Yeah, the Red Wings, but that's not who we go to see. We just go see the Griffins, which is Grand Rapids team. And they're in the playoffs right now. They're currently tied with like the team that they're playing because it has to be best 3 out of 5, and they're both at 2. So Monday night is like the deciding game. So, and I get paid on Monday, and Josh has Monday off. So I'm like, get tickets because we're gonna go. And Ashley, I have to text Allegra and see if she wants us to get her a ticket because it's like a big freaking deal. Because
Yeah.
the first game I went to was just a regular game, and I was hoping that there would be a fight, but there was no fight. But
Oh.
then the playoff game that I went to with Allegra, because she won 2 tickets, there was like 3 brawls, and I was living. Like there were not enough refs to break up like the fight because the Griffins scored a goal, and then the other team just like attacked them. And it was like
Jesus.
the whole of both of the teams just like going at it. And yeah, it was amazing. I love it. I really like hockey fights. That's the
They
whole
get
reason
slammed
I
up against the
go.
glass.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Oh
They
my
do that
gosh.
like a lot, and every time I'm like, oh.
But yeah, you should talk to Jeremy about hockey now because he played hockey as a kid and a
Oh,
teenager, and so like that's his big sport. Yeah, so get me
I
into
don't
hockey
know
so I could better
anything.
relate.
Like, I really don't know anything about it. I
You
don't
just
know,
like it.
like, I don't know the players. I don't know how anything works. So, I mean, like,
Mm-hmm.
I know how they score, but I don't know. Like, Allegra talks to me about it because it's like now that's their new thing to fangirl over
Mm-hmm.
hockey. And I just like sit and listen and absorb it because maybe next year I'll actually know what's going on. But I've had a
Yeah.
lot of fun going, and I hope that we win because our team is like apparently undefeated or close to it or something. Like they've won the playoffs the past couple years. I don't want to
Nice.
put a number to that because I don't know. But
All the angry hockey fans are gonna find this and they're like,
oops,
"Can't believe you.
don't come
You're
for
not a
me.
real hockey fan."
I'm not. I'm the first to admit that.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel. I always have to have someone explain to me like what the hell is going on with football.
Oh, I don't know
Um,
football.
and the one I like watching is baseball, which
I
people
love
always say
baseball.
like
Yeah,
baseball is the most boring to watch,
that's
and I'm
what
like, but I
people
can
say
follow
too
what the
because
hell is going on in
we
baseball.
we have like a little baseball team too, and Allegra said, "Oh yeah, when they get tickets for that, they just like sit on the grass." And I'm like, "No, that's the one where I want to be, like right freaking there." I
Mm-hmm.
mean, hockey is fun and all, but like baseball, I played softball and everything growing up.
Yeah. You're sitting on the grass. You have a blanket. You have your bag chairs. You bring a cooler and some snacks. Because my cousin plays all the
Mm-hmm.
sports, and so during the spring summer we would go and visit. He would always have games to go and
Mm-hmm.
sit, and that's exactly what we did because we're a family in Michigan, and
Yep,
that's what all
that's
family in
what we
Michigans
do.
do. Bag chairs. I feel like no one else in the world uses bag chairs but people in Michigan.
I don't know.
Is that
I
like
feel like it's a camping thing too. So I'm
yeah, I
wondering
think
if
it's a mostly a camping thing.
I don't know why this comes to mind, but I'm like, I bet people in Colorado use bag chairs. I don't know why, like Colorado specifically.
Any of
People
our
in Florida,
listeners in
we saw it
Colorado,
when we were camping in Florida. People had bag chairs, so
because people in Florida are all people from Michigan
that's
who want to be
true.
warm.
That's true. Like 80% of the people that my dad introduced me to at his work came from Grand Rapids. So I
Right,
was
yeah.
like, oh, okay. I didn't realize that you were working in Michigan again. Thanks.
That's so funny. Just like the migrate, like we're fucking monarch butterflies. We just migrate down.
Yeah.
Um, what else has been going on? I don't know. Oh, the biggest thing that I think I'm a changed woman. I've been introduced to 3 really good boys named the McElroy brothers. Do you know the McElroy brothers?
The name sounds familiar, but I
They
don't
do a
know.
little pretty famous podcast called My Brother, and Me. Have you
Mm.
ever heard of that?
Mm-mm.
You need to listen to this podcast.
Okay.
It is an advice podcast for the modern era.
Oh,
It's
geez.
what they market it as. But it's the 3 of them reading, they read fan questions, but then they also answer Yahoos, like Yahoo Ask
Oh,
questions.
yeah.
It's so, Becca, it's so funny. It's so funny. And then they do live shows, and they're coming to Detroit actually in like a week, but I don't think I can go
Oh.
because on such short notice. But they'll come around next time because now they're like full time podcasting and touring. And then they do another podcast called The Adventure Zone, and it's the 3 brothers and their dad playing Dungeons and Dragons. And I've been,
That's
yeah, oh, it's so
everything.
funny. It's so funny because like they're really casual about it, and they just
Mm.
kind of like it's more on the comedy side of D&D and like role playing than on the rule side, because I listen to Critical Role, which is like a long standing D&D show on Geek and Sundry, and like that's like serious role playing, like, and they follow the rules and they're like so intricate and stuff. And then over on the Adventure Zone, they're like, so you go up the elevator for convenience, and at the top of the skyscraper, so like people got mad that he put elevators into his D&D, and then he made an elevator museum for the history of the elevator to fit in the world. It's just so fun. It's just so funny and different. But I bring up the McElroys because these are the eldest brother, Justin McElroy, tweeted something the other day that made me think. I don't know if this conversation will go anywhere, because I was just gonna write an essay about it, like for no reason, just about this topic. But I'm gonna read you this series of tweets, and then we're gonna move forward. You might be like, Caitlin, this isn't a conversation, but we'll find out. So basically, Justin tells the story of his friend, Bob Thompson. I don't know who Bob Thompson is, but he was talking about when he was trying to get his career started and he was playing a demo for a big record label. And the label rep let the demo finish and said, "This is great, but I can't do anything with you." And Bob, understandably, was confused and asked for an explanation. And the label rep said, "This is great, but I know 5 people I could call up right now and play this exact demo. Find the thing that only you can do, and then I have to work with you." And then he finishes with, I probably don't know you, but there is one thing I can say with absolute certainty. I know that way deep down in my bones that there is a record only you can play. Figure out what that record is, play it, and then you have no choice but to listen. And they have no choice but to listen. I was like, shit. Because I've been going through this whole thing of like, I really want to put my work out there, for whatever reason. I'm a creative person, and so as a creative person, originality is always like this big thing, like you want to be original, and then people counter with that, like nothing's original anymore.
That's what I was gonna say.
Right. And so I'm like, but nothing I like to do is original.
And that's, I mean, the only thing I really have to speak for is like doing my YouTube videos. The only way I come up with ideas is seeing what other people are doing. So none of my stuff is original. None of the stuff I say in my book reviews is original. Like, I'm not, but I do see people that are coming up with like original ideas, or at least ideas that they've seen elsewhere, and they're putting like a book tube spin on it. But yeah, I don't know. Even like singing shows and stuff like that, I feel like the people that stand out are just people with a sound that is not really being heard that much. So if someone is singing like something indie, but everything that's on the radio right now is like pop, then they're gonna stand out more. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I do think that it kind of depends, like, situationally, but I kind of see, like, where they're coming from, too, because a lot of artists are very versatile. So you do kind of have to find something that is, like, your own. But it's hard because we're so inspired by, like, other people around us that how do you know if anything is really your own?
Right, exactly. Like, I'm so inspired by artists and other costume designers. Whenever I design and do my work, I know that I'm not, I will study, I will get inspired by a new artist that I find, and then I try to mimic their style in my own way to try to figure out what techniques they're using. And sometimes I really like it, and I keep doing that with my own stuff. But, yeah, it's that fear. I kind of had like an existential, like, I don't think I will ever be original.
Yeah.
And that's like the kind of worrying thing, because that is like, why am I hireable? Because that's exactly right. Like, people who are looking for costume designers probably know the same, like, 5 people, 10 people who know the same exact, who are local, by the way, because I'm in the middle of God nowhere
right.
for theater, so, it's just that kind of fear of like I as an artist, I have been doing stuff for so long, and I've been drawing since, I was a kid, that I don't have my own voice yet.
Yeah.
And like that's the kind of journey I've been taking, not working right now, is
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to find that voice. And then of course the main goal is to be able to market that and share it with people, and the dream is to profit from it. And I know people are like, I don't know, it's like a whole, do I use my skills, that my hobbies that I really like doing, to make a profit?
Yeah.
Well, and in right now, yes, because I have no job and I really would love to. I have no financial stability and I would really love to be able to profit off of the things that I like to do.
Sure.
But everyone else is also doing the same exact thing that I'm doing. So what makes me stand out? Anyway, that's the whole existential crisis I had
Yeah.
yesterday when I read those tweets.
No,
And
I
so,
go through that sometimes too, like, and then I go in a slump where I don't make videos for a month because I'm like, wow, why even bother? Because like I
yeah.
had a really hard time after I made my like a video talking about Love Simon, because I've made other like book verse movies videos before and they've done pretty well. And this one, for whatever reason, has like maybe 50 views. And other people that
Okay.
dropped the same day got like thousands within a couple hours, or hundreds within a couple hours. So, and I know part of that is because YouTube is a shithole right now and is doing like way other things with notifications and bullshit. But it really, for some reason, like that really hit me because I'm like, what the fuck? I don't know. And then I just didn't make anything because I'm like, well, might as well not because nothing I do is original anyway.
God, I hope this isn't showing up. My father, who is working downstairs, whenever he works. We're gonna get back to the topic, but I need to
Sure.
do this. Can you hear the noise in the background? Can you hear
No.
anything in the background? Oh, thank God. I hope my microphone isn't picking up, because he likes playing movie soundtracks
Oh,
in the background downstairs while he works, and I can hear it upstairs. And I'm
oh,
like, God, like I told him I was recording with you, so hopefully the microphone doesn't pick it
no,
up.
I think that'll be
Anyway,
fine. Um,
um,
I think that
that's
like,
another thing too.
go
Sorry,
ahead.
what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say like, I think that where you're coming from in your situation, it might have to do with like our age too, and
Oh,
like
absolutely.
getting more experience. And I was just gonna say like, keep pushing yourself and like doing designs that are outside your comfort zone and stuff like that too will probably help.
Yeah. I've been trying, and I've been every day for. My goal is to post. I made a separate Instagram for my art,
Ooh.
and I've been trying to post there at least once every day or every 2 days. And I made a separate art portfolio because I had a whole talk with Wyatt, when I last visited him, and about how I would like to elevate my art and get, not necessarily stop theater, but I drawing's a huge part of me, and I really want to do that. So aside from my costuming portfolio, I made an art and design portfolio for my posters and my digital art. And so I'm trying to like build that up. So I've been drawing a lot more. So I am pushing myself.
Yeah.
It's just I'm an impatient Leo, and so I'm like, where are my millions of fans, like right
Right?
now? And no, that's not how it works. It's not how it works at
That's
all.
not
I keep
how it works.
forgetting that that is not. But also lately, I've been missing making video content.
You should make video content. I keep
I
telling
know I
you.
should. I know. I've been
I
missing making video
still
content.
really, really, really want you to do like speed draws of K-pop idols with a voiceover talking about like what's new in the K-pop world.
Yeah.
I want that so bad. I'm holding out for
I
it.
I'll take that idea, and maybe this week or next week I will record something.
Yeah.
And the problem with me is I don't draw likeness well, and maybe this will be a good challenge for me. Like I can't. You're the only person I can draw like in real life, because I've drawn you so many
Yeah.
times that
Speaking of
that
that,
looks
I
like
need
you.
a new YouTube banner,
You
so
need YouTube stuff.
I'm
That's
waiting
okay.
for that.
Oh, I'll make. Yeah, we can talk about that, because I have to
Okay.
make one for Wyatt too, because Wyatt wants to start making YouTube videos. I'm gonna teach him
Yes,
how to edit next time I'm over there.
squad. YouTube squad.
And yeah, YouTube squad, right? Yeah. Um, So yeah, I'm gonna do all that. Maybe I need to just be like a digital consultant,
Yeah.
like a digital artist consultant, because a lot of computers um, don't do a lot of, like, they don't have an in-house graphic designer to do posters.
Yeah.
And so the one I'm working with right now, I said I would love to make your poster because I just do it anyway and it's super quick for me. And she loved the poster and she was like, "Can you just keep doing our posters?" And I was like, "Well, I would love to do it for a price because I'm broke, but I haven't talked to her about that yet. But like
Yeah.
maybe I need to market that more because theaters just don't.
I think that you do because you're really good at
I
it.
like doing it
Like you just have a way of like capturing the essence of
of a
the
show.
show. Yeah, I love it.
You know, like when people go out and pick like clothes. That's with me with fonts. I just love picking out fonts.
Oh yeah, I
There's so
really like fonts
many.
too. I do too
Yeah.
for
Anyway,
my thumbnails and
so
other projects.
myself to put myself out there more. And I realized that this was another we're just going to talk about all my problems today. Is that okay? We can The title of this podcast
No,
episode is
go for
Caitlin's
it. Yeah,
therapy
that's
session with
fine.
her therapist who she hasn't seen in a long time. Um I had this
Oh,
other realization about friends. And I'm not shading any of the Katie Coven or anything
okay.
like that. This isn't even a shade thing.
Yes, you are.
No, don't be offended.
I'm
This is just a
offended.
realization that
Podcast canceled.
my like attention whore Leo-ness, and I keep using that phrase. I don't, but you know what I mean. Just like
Yeah.
I
Oh, I know.
I don't know why it affects me so much that, but because it shouldn't affect me. How do I even put this? I'm just because I whenever I talk about that, it's in my head because that's all I've been thinking about. Is I just sound like a jealous petty bitch. Like I just but like I left high school
Mhm.
with a small group of friends and then a larger circle of people that I still like enjoyed talking to, and I don't talk to anyone in high school at all.
Yeah.
I get to college and it was the same thing. I had you and Gabby and Wyatt. I had Bree and Mel when they were still there. You know, that group. When I was younger, I had the group that graduated way before me in the costume shop.
Yeah.
They all live in Chicago now. And now there's the group that I graduated with and the group that is like a little bit below me. I thought we were all pretty good friends, but I don't talk to any of those people on the reg
Yeah,
anymore.
me either. Actually, I've been thinking about that too. And like, no shade
Yeah.
towards Wyatt and Gabby and the kitty coven, but I wish that we talked more. I don't know.
So, we need to revive the group chat.
Yeah, we really do. Because I miss all of you
Because
so much.
I honestly, I talk to the three of you individually, but it's because it's about individual things. Like, I talk to you,
I don't really talk to Wyatt, and I haven't talked to Gabby, and I don't even know how long. I really just talk to you.
well, you should really, yeah, so it's like, so yesterday I thought about that, and then I literally reached out to, like, everyone. And then Bree reached out to me, and I called and talked to her for like an hour and a half last night. But like I reached out to Anthony, and I was like, "Yo, dude, we should talk soon." And he ended up being busy this weekend. He was like, "I want to hang out with you soon before you leave again." And I was like, "Yeah." So it's like it's that weird thing in my brain where I think I don't have any friends, but in reality,
Yeah,
like, they still consider me a friend. I just have to reach out to them. So that's my advice.
yeah,
I
that's
think
kind of how I
you
am
should.
too.
Wyatt misses you. He talks about how much he misses hanging out with all of us. So
Uh,
you should reach out to him.
we need to have like a kitty coven
I
reunion
know.
or something. And if you ever like make plans to hang out with people that we chilled with in college, let me know because I don't do anything on the weekends,
Okay.
and I'd be so down to chill.
Well, I'm hoping. I know Gabby can't come, but because it's the same weekend she's doing a show in Detroit, but my show in Lansing is in the middle of May, and
Okay.
so I know Wyatt and Bradley will come to that. So I will give you the dates.
Yeah.
Um,
Let me
there's
know.
there's 2 weekends of it, but I'll be there. one of the weekends, probably both of the weekends. I'll see a show both weekends, but I'd love for you to come and see it because it's not. These are adult people, and then Hope Miller is in it. You remember Hope?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's the lead in it. She lives in the Lansing area now,
nice.
so it's been interesting working with her again because she is a hairdresser, so she looks completely different, and like her nails are did and her hair's did, and she looks really nice. Is what I'm saying. But I need to tone that down a little bit because she's supposed to be a depressed 40-year-old mom, and I need to tone that down. It's not a happy show, but I think it'll be good, and I hope I can work with that theater more. But yeah. Anyway, oh my God, we've only been talking for half an hour.
Oh wow. That's fine. We can just keep going.
No, I know, but like it's because I'm having coffee that I'm talking.
Yeah. Hey, guess what? I kind of drink coffee now. Kind of.
Oh, okay.
I drink mochas only.
Mocha is a pretty good step, though. I mean, that's chocolate milk and espresso. Yeah.
Yeah, but I only like the ones at Starbucks, which is a problem for my soul. I've tried, I've perused around, so maybe I'll, try to find a local coffee shop and be really bougie about it. But, I've tried Big B and everything, and I don't. Mm-hmm. Starbucks is where it's at. I'm like, oh, man. No.
Yeah. I frequent Big B more because there's one in town.
Yeah.
And I talked to Brie because Brie works at Starbucks, and so last night when I called her, we talked all about the Starbucks racism training that they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, yeah, that's going to happen in May. She said that they're doing the racism training. So I asked her to tell me how that is because of that, that whole incident.
Yeah.
So I'd be interested in hearing about what happens with that and what
Me
they
too.
say about that. So I'll give you an update about that.
Cool.
Yeah, I think I got in with I got into coffee, I think, with drinks like mochas and stuff with the heavy flavors that are masked, but
yeah.
I'm now 100% dairy not 100% dairy free. 100% pure liquid dairy free. I still eat cheese and ice cream because that doesn't kill me as often, but I always have to ask for the lactose alternative.
Mm-hmm.
I drink lactose-free milk now.
Nice. Look at you.
Taking care of my body. Trying to, at least.
Right?
And I tried working out this week, and then I am so out of shape that I did a 10 minutes ab routine.
Yeah.
On Tuesday. I overstrained my body and I couldn't move for a day and a half.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start again next week and be like, all right, a 3-minute ab challenge YouTube video, not 10 minutes, because I can't fucking do that.
Right.
But I'm trying to take care of myself more. I would like to lose some weight before I go off to Interlaken, just so I'm a little healthier, but coffee doesn't help, I'm sure, but anyway.
I've been thinking about getting a gym membership or something just to do a little something because I really like riding my bike, but my knees are kind of shot and I'm incredibly out of shape as well. I might not look it, but I am. So I've been thinking about doing that because Josh has a gym membership and I can go with him, but he doesn't go. So I'm like, okay, well, I will get a gym membership and I will actually go. Thanks so much.
Gyms are intimidating for me just because I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. So I've been doing stuff in my living room. And they have classes. You might enjoy I don't know, would you do a yoga class or a Zumba class or something like that at a gym?
I do yoga in my living room from YouTube videos. Oh, yeah? So, yeah,
nice.
There's a really great yoga channel. I'll send it to you. She does 30-day challenges and yoga.
Oh, that's perfect.
For different things. You'll see. It's good.
No, that's cool because that would be a good warm up and cool down because I just go right into
intense,
it. I don't stretch. It's intense.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. The 30-day whatever, I can't make it past day 3. Part of it is laziness and part of it is the fact that it starts picking up speed. I'm like, wow.
Right, yeah. Somewhere around here I have a yoga mat that Scott Sorrell sold me when he was moving when he graduated. I don't know where it is, but they're like, it's around here somewhere. So, are you planning on seeing Infinity War?
Josh saw it last night without me, and I'm pretty salty about it. But I
You
have
are?
not seen all of the movies that I need to see in order
Oh, okay.
to go see that. I never like watched any superhero movies until
Mm-hmm.
like I think a couple weeks ago I watched Iron Man for the first time. I really like Iron Man, and I watched Captain America. That was okay. And then we were trying to watch Thor, but the captions were not working. So we had to
Really?
abandon that movie, which is unfortunate because I really wanted to watch Thor. And then we
Yeah.
haven't watched any since. And we were gonna watch Guardians of the Galaxy last night, but
Mm-hmm.
I got home at like 11:30, and Josh put on Supernatural instead, and then I was ready for
Mm-hmm.
bed. So maybe tonight we'll watch Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, I would say watch the intro movies for like all of the people. Watch the two Avenger movies beforehand. So like
Mm-hmm.
Avengers, I'm trying to here's the comprehensive list. You can probably skip event Iron Man. Iron Man 1's pretty important. Iron Man 2 you can probably skip, but Iron Man 3 was pretty good.
Okay.
Captain America, if you know the origin story of Captain America, you don't have to watch the original because that's the origin story.
Mm-hmm.
But Captain America Civil War was pretty
Mm-hmm.
important. Um, Avengers and Avengers Age of Ultron, those are two you should watch. Black Panther you should definitely watch because that's just
Yeah, I
a
need to see
standalone really
that.
good movie.
Yeah.
Um, I'm trying to think of others. Spider-Man Homecoming was pretty good, but not necessary. I don't think. Guardians of the Galaxy, both of them were okay, but the first one I think is better. What other ones? Doctor Strange will be in it. The
Mm-hmm.
Doctor Strange movie's good. Ant-Man will be in it. The Ant-Man movie's good. They're making a second one. It
Oh,
was Ant-Man was better than people thought it was going to be. Everyone was like,
that's
"You're
kind of
making an
like what
Ant-Man
I
film,"
heard.
but Paul Rudd's really good. Um, I think that's it. I think that's it for the MCU. I don't think
Yeah.
Deadpool will be in it, but the Deadpool movie is really funny, and then Deadpool 2 is coming out soon. So
Yeah, I'm not into Deadpool.
no,
No,
a little
I
too
don't think
graphic. It
so.
is a little. It's
Yeah,
a little too graphic. Um,
not
it's
my
way more adult.
vein.
But like
Yeah.
my dad loves the Deadpool movie, and he will
So
play
does
the
my
Deadpool
dad.
soundtrack,
And
which
I'm like,
includes like, um, rap music. So that's the only rap music he listens to is from the
that's
Deadpool
so
movie.
cute.
It's so funny. Um, so yeah, no, we're seeing it. My sister is she's in the process of being picked up by my mother, and
Oh,
they're packing up her apartment her dorm because
I
she's
was
about to
gonna
finish
say
her first
apartment. Wait,
year.
what?
No, she's about to finish her first year at MSU, and
Yeah,
I'm gonna cry. I can't believe
that's crazy.
it's been a year since she left. Um, and then we're gonna see Infinity War today, and then I probably will see it again if Jeremy wants to see it. I'm going up to visit this weekend. So maybe we can go over and see it with you guys.
Yeah,
Because we have nothing. Because I'm staying from like Sunday to Tuesday, although you work.
yeah,
Damn it, you
I
work.
do work.
Well, I'm sorry. My
Unfortunately,
frivolous, unemployed ass doesn't work.
it's fine.
I have I've committed to if I don't have anything lined up for the fall and I'm not in grad school. I don't think I'm going to grad school this fall, but if I don't have anything lined up, I'm definitely going to get some sort of retail job to pay bills because I feel
Yeah,
I should have done it this time, but I didn't. What was
sometimes
I
you
going to
just
bring up?
need like a little break.
Yeah, I thought I was going to like be really gung ho about this Etsy store stuff
Mm-hmm.
and make these flower crowns that I was planning, and they're really cute and stuff, but I I have this thing where I'm like, again, we're going back in conversation, but I keep having this thing of I'm tricking myself into thinking that I like doing something just so I can sell it.
Yeah,
So I tricked myself into thinking, wow, I would really like to make flower crowns. And I like it, but not enough for that to be my entire store.
mhm,
You know what I mean? Like to
yep,
be like my big push of selling. So I'm like, again, it's back
but
to that
it could
originality
be like
thing.
part of it.
It could be, and I probably will because I have so many flowers I need to use up. They'll get used eventually. Like, my mom makes projects that need flowers. She always makes like plant people for shows or something like that. So they'll be used regardless, whether it's a show or not. Or I make them to sell. But yeah, I thought I was gonna like doing that for my Etsy, and then I'm like, I don't want that to be my entire identity. Is making some flower crowns. So that's the identity crisis I've been going through. That's why I haven't been working. It's because I'm going through it. What other news things? Have you heard about Kanye supporting Trump?
Briefly, but I don't know much about it. Can you debrief me?
I don't know much about it either, but basically he posted a picture of him wearing the Make America Great Again hat, and then the internet exploded, and basically he was like, you know, he was kind of promoting, not promoting, well, yeah, he was promoting Trump, but he was like, you know, they've only been in office for a year, we don't know what they're gonna do. Then he posted John Legend, messaged him and was like, you know, you have this audience that's very, you know, you're a very influential person, and I had hoped that you would have thought about the things that you support, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And basically Kanye was like, I'm entitled to like my free thinking,
I mean, that's the truth. You don't have to agree with it.
Right, absolutely. A lot of people unfollowed him.
Yeah, I saw there was like, wow, massive unfollowing. But I also saw that people were saying that, like, I don't know, talking about his free speech and stuff, and it's like, well, he's still like using his free speech. That doesn't mean that you have to like what he is saying. I don't know. I'll have to find like some tweets. I haven't been like retweeting or anything because I don't know anything about really what's going on. But yeah, I did see a little bit about that. I know that like Philip DeFranco talked about it, but I didn't watch his videos yet. He's not doing too hot. I feel kind of bad. Yeah, Philip DeFranco is not doing too hot. He's thinking about stopping his YouTube channel because it's on the decline. Bad.
Wow.
Like bad. Yeah.
Wow.
And then Ethan and Ela said that their podcast is where they're getting the main source of their income because it's on Twitch, not on YouTube. But I don't really know because Ethan. Did you see Ethan's little scandal that happened with his tweet?
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
I have some feelings about it. I'm like on the fence.
You do?
Yeah. I'm a little on the fence about it because, like, I get where people are coming from because that is, like, was a little out of line, and it would have been easy to just be like, sorry, it's a joke. I didn't mean to offend people, but also it's a joke. And instead he just, like, ran with it, and I feel like he dug himself into a deeper hole. But they made some really good points on their podcast saying, like, people can be offended, and that's not a problem. Like, it's not that big of a deal. If you're going to be offended, you are. Yeah.
Right. I have been watching, because we talked about comedians and cars getting coffee. I think we texted about how you really like that show. And I watched the whole thing, and a lot of what Jerry Seinfeld was bringing up in that show was people's sensitivity to jokes.
Yeah.
In this PC, you know, social justice warrior culture that we have evolved into.
Sure.
And I don't remember what comedian he was talking about, but I want to say it was Steve Harvey, because I really liked that episode because I love Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey made a joke about drunk drivers. And the entire audience laughed.
Yeah.
But then afterwards, this one woman came up to him in tears saying that her daughter had died from a drunk driving accident. And, his philosophy and Jerry Seinfeld's philosophy is like, I'm sorry that offended you personally, but I didn't know you were there.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were in my audience that particular night. I don't know if I would have even changed my material if I knew that you were in my audience that night. And so I have been thinking a lot about sensitivity in comedy specifically. So maybe that's a topic we should like do for an entire podcast, because I could talk about that for a really long time. Like, where is the line? Because I think Ethan's tweet, like, did he respond to it in like a, I don't know, he made that video and I would have to watch it again, but I thought he brought up some decent points.
I unsubscribed from him after watching that video, but not from the podcast. I don't know. I just thought that it was like, and I didn't watch the whole video, so maybe he made like some good points, but I just thought that it was kind of like, okay, you need to kind of let this die. Like, you're taking it a little too far now. Because, like, he made the initial tweet, and it's like, okay, not in the best taste, but whatever. And then people, like, started responding back to him, and then he just, like, kept going with it. And it was like, okay, you can be done now. Like, you can just be done. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like, me just saying that reminds me of, like, how I talk to my kids, where it's like they're doing something and it's like, okay, and then you kind of see them keep doing the same thing and it's like, okay, you need to just be done with everything. And that's kind of the part that I took. But in the podcast, like, Ela talked a little bit more about it and was saying, like, the people that were getting, and he like shed more light on it, I don't know if he did in the video, but they did in the podcast, the people that they were getting like the most pissed off about, that like pushed him to keep, instead of just like flat out apologizing, were people being like, yeah, I was really offended, but they couldn't give specifics. Like, they're like, oh, I'm gonna have to go back and like see what it was. And Ethan's like, well, then why would you scrub through whatever was going on to find like the parts that you were offended about? That's ridiculous. And so that's why he just like kept it rolling, because he's like, whatever, I don't even care. But I don't know if they talked about, I think they said that there was like no one that they saw anyway from like the trans community that came and said that like they were offended. Because if like multiple people were reaching out from that community, then it would have been different. But it was like people outside of the community being offended for those individuals, and that's not really fair because you're not a part of that community. So that's where I was like, okay, yeah, I guess you're right. I think
we should go back. We can talk about the comedy stuff in like a longer, because it's such a huge thing. Well, PC culture in general is a huge thing, but we should go back and watch his apology video, because yes, he was making fun of the responses he was getting.
And that's about the point that like I was like, okay, wow, no, and I just unsubscribed. So I'm like, I can't do that.
That's fair. But I agree with you on the fact that these people who were getting mad at him were not a part of the community that he was quote unquote making fun of.
Yeah.
He was making fun of himself. He had people in the comment, like, what was it? He was like, my hand touched
like,
my penis touched the urinal and I have to chop it off now. Like,
but it wasn't just that.
No, I know it wasn't just that. But the trans community was like, that was, people who understand his humor were like, just, that was such a huge jump in extreme. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I can also see why people found it offensive, because he could have just stopped with like, I have to cut it off. He didn't have to say like, you can call me by a woman's name now, as if not having a penis automatically makes him a woman.
No, I understand where it's coming from, but I don't think a failed joke like that automatically labels you as transphobic.
No, absolutely not.
Right, exactly. And that is exactly what people were doing to him.
Yeah, and that has to do with like, and this is obviously like a conversation for a bigger podcast, because we both can go on and on. But there's so much of that where like someone makes an insensitive remark, just not even realizing that it's insensitive, and then they're labeled a racist or, you know, like other things like that. And it's like, okay, what you said was racist, but you as a person are not. So it's like I heard that it was like in one of my sociology classes or something like that. Like we talked about what makes a person. I don't know. There's a bigger level to
it's
this
a huge
than.
right, exactly. So I don't think, but it's the people outside of these communities that are policing it.
Yeah.
And it's it's this social justice of people who are trying to, I don't want to say overcompensate,
Mhm.
but they kind of are, because a lot of people in the trans community, when I was looking comments of that video and of those tweets, were like, guys, like, you don't have to be offended for us.
Yeah.
We can fight our own fight. And I think
we can
that is
speak for
exactly
ourselves,
what.
but thanks anyway.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. But it's the same white people who are doing this to defend minorities, overcompensating for all of this racism, lack of
Yeah.
diversity, things like that, and they're doing it in the wrong way, so it's like, so I don't know. I get where people's feelings are about his comments. I get why you unsubscribed.
Yeah.
And but it's that whole thing about knowing when someone is being comedic, and I knew in that tweet he was being comedic, and his intention was not to be harmful in that.
Well,
so
sure.
And his continuation of saying those things was to keep showing people in a way, not the best way, that he was making a joke, and it flopped.
Yeah.
In his mind, he doesn't think it flopped. In my mind, it did.
It definitely, like, you didn't hit the mark, fam. That's not.
So I get why you felt the need to unsubscribe. I'm sure a lot of people felt the need to unsubscribe to that. But there are people that I have been offended to in things that that are personal to me. And then I was like, hold on a second. Like, what am I really mad about? Am I mad about the fact that he said some things I didn't like in this one particular instance? Is it repeated instances like where he's saying these things like that?
Looked out.
So I've gone back and because there are some people that I wasn't watching because of some things that they said in videos. Then I would go back and listen to it again, and I'm like, I get what they're trying to say, but it was not said in the best way possible. Yeah. And that particular YouTuber I watch hasn't made any sort of videos like that in a really long time. So I was like, all right, he's learned his lesson,
Sure.
On the other hand, when we bring up people like Logan Paul, who have had all these multiple instances of horribleness, that is not excusable.
Logan Paul.
And this whole the whole insensitivity to culture and people in general, that is repeated offense. And that should be punished, and it is.
And I mean, like,
it has been punished.
It translates into so many aspects, so many different aspects, because there are, in the book community right now, there's like a bunch of authors that have just come like under fire, and like a couple of them are being considered like honorary guests or something at BookCon, and people are tweeting like hashtag like boycott BEA, which is maybe BookCon is different. I think it's BEA and BookCon. Book Expo America is BEA. And people are like, well, if you don't want to go to this event, you can go to all these like other events where we will not support like authors like that. And it's like, well, I don't know. There's been a debate. I've seen like some channels in the past make a debate like, are you still supporting the artist if you read their books? Like, are you still supporting that person, or are you just like liking their work? Are you still supporting what they're doing?
Right, the separation of artist versus art.
Yeah.
It's like,
I'm so excited to have this conversation on a larger scale in a different.
It's like, can you go back and enjoy the Cosby Show knowing all the horrible things that Bill Cosby has done? Exactly.
Maybe.
Can you? I don't know if I could. There are some things to me that are very unexcusable, and the things that he did are very unexcusable, obviously. But he got
but what
he
about
was found guilty in the
like,
retrial.
if you're like a child and you grow up not knowing what he did, like, and then that just happens to be your favorite show and no one like ever tells you what he did, are you wrong? Like, there are going to be children that are born that don't know like things that have happened, and you know, the shows will still be on TV, like all of this will still be happening, and I don't know, it's just like an interesting thing to think about, I guess. Like,
Yeah, because that's always the conversation, especially in art communities. Whenever an artist or YouTuber is like whatever outed being a really shitty, horrible person, and people still support their work, that's still supporting the person.
I feel
It's
like YouTube is very different, because if you're supporting a YouTuber's work, you're supporting that YouTuber because they are the work.
It's mostly, I mostly see it in art communities where like they, you know, I still really like their art and I'm gonna, you know, like it and reblog it, knowing that they, you know, draw really horrible things, and it just anyway it. So that's a whole conversation that we can have later about policing culture and
look at us
comedy
coming up with content.
Yeah,
just to bring it full circle. Not original content, but our views are
now we
original.
hopefully have a thing.
Yeah.
And our views are slightly different about that. I mean, we obviously have slightly different views about the H3H3 thing, and I'm sure we have different
I would be
opinions
willing, like, after I finish recording with you, I'm probably going to go and watch that video all the way through just to see.
I probably should watch it again, too, because we brought it up so much. But, yeah, I don't know. It's just that, I mean...
Well, Ethan kind of rubs me the wrong way sometimes anyway. That's why I like watching the podcast more, because there's, like, more of a buffer. It's usually never just him sitting there, but sometimes he kind of rubs me the wrong way.
Right, and that's not, I mean, it's a style of comedy that works for him, and not necessarily for you as a viewer. You know, and that's it. It's just not your cup of tea.
It's not that big of a deal.
You would hate iDubbbz, and I think he's really fucking hilarious. Huh?
I like iDubbbz.
You like iDubbbz, and you don't like H3H3? I think iDubbbz on the scale of policing is way fucking worse. I feel like people get on iDubbbz's case way more than they have ever Ethan's, and I'm really surprised that you like.
I like
that
iDubbbz.
you. Huh, interesting. Is it because Ethan's like this 30-year-old man and he shakes his ass at the camera all the time? Is that what makes you uncomfortable?
No.
Oh. I don't know. We could talk about that off camera. Well, I'm glad I made you laugh. That means I'm still your friend after we had this whole discussion.
Of course.
I feel like we could talk more about stuff that I know that we don't necessarily agree upon, and that we would still be okay. I'm not going to talk about you with it. There are some topics I probably will never talk to any of my best friends about, but,
you can talk to me about anything.
No, you don't want to do a podcast about abortion laws, Becca, alright?
Nope, I really don't. Nope.
That's like the one thing I never talk about. I will talk politics. I know nothing about politics, but I have firm beliefs about abortion and like Planned Parenthood and all of that, you know, whatever stuff. So
my views are getting slightly more flexible, but not 100% there. So
right, exactly. So again, don't expect
a
podcast talking about that unless the laws are drastically changing, and then there's like something to actually talk about. But
maybe not.
Not the point. Not the point of this. We're not trying to be a downer. I feel like this whole show is like,
no.
Hey, we caught up. It was really great. Caitlin doesn't know who she is anymore,
okay.
and
I just read a book that was really good, but it had a lot. I don't know why I keep finding these books that have like existential like questions, and this one literally was about a boy who, and it was a contemporary book with like a sci-fi spin. So it's about this boy who occasionally gets abducted by aliens, and the aliens show him that the world is going to be ending in 144 days and give him the option to save the world or not. But his life is like kind of falling apart, so he doesn't know if he wants to save the world. So he asks,
is that the ant one you were reading?
Yeah, he asks like all the different people in his life, like in all of these different situations that they're all going through. If you had a chance to save the world, would you? And it made me think. So my video that's dropping is not a typical review. It's more of like 5 reasons why I think you should read this book, and that is like my biggest reason is that it makes you think about the bigger picture.
Right.
Yeah.
Art should make you think.
Definitely.
Art is inherently political. Not a lot of people think art is inherently political or makes you think, or but it is to an extent. Some more than others. But yeah, I like things that make you think. I'm trying to be a little bit more thinkerly lately. Trying at least. I don't know.
Wow, Caitlinism.
Look, I'm crashing from the cup of coffee I had. Remember how it was like,
I can tell that you're slightly winding down.
I need to take a shower. I need to wake up again. I can't fall asleep. I'm gonna get popcorn and drinks at the movies. At the movies. I'm going to the movies.
I'm like, what are you talking about? I forgot already. Sorry, I'm slipping a little bit.
That's fine. We're kind of rusty. We haven't done this in a really long time. It has actually, I think, been a month since we last recorded, hasn't it?
Probably, because it was your audio, not mine. This time, your audio.
It was my audio this time, and I really hope I tested my mic recording, and I tested it, and hopefully it doesn't again. I should have checked midway through.
If anything else, I hope that this podcast recording session was very cathartic for you.
It was. I miss talking to you, and I wish that I hope that we do this more. We might have to take another like summer hiatus.
That's fine.
Well, if we do it every other week, except I have no idea what the actual fucking schedule is going to be like. I don't know if I get a day off. That's something I need to actually email her about today. Yeah. And be like, so what the fuck is happening?
What is happening
with this camp? Actually, I have no idea how it works, and yeah.
Because you're going to be at the camp, right?
Yeah, it's the school. I'll be in a dorm, but it's like it's the summer camp. So, yeah, it's not like you live in log cabins and tents. Okay,
because that's what my fine arts camp was.
Well, actually, I have no fucking idea. I've never even been to Interlaken before, so it's like I have no idea.
I haven't been to Interlaken, so I really don't know. But I feel like that was a pretty intense.
Did you go to Blue Lake?
Yeah, I went to Blue Lake.
Oh, you? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I loved it.
All my friends went to Blue Lake. One of my favorite teachers teaches up at Blue Lake. She does the choir. But
I went to Blue Lake. Okay, get this. We didn't realize it, obviously, because I didn't know Anthony. But I went to Blue Lake back in the day with Anthony's cousin, Haley.
Oh, really?
And we were, like, in the same cabin and everything. And I think it was my last year going, because I remember I was doing community theater, and that's when I was in the summer rep program, and I had just got cast, and I literally had to go pick up my script, go to summer camp, and then come back like completely off book and everything, and then just like learn all of everything. And it was High School Musical, so she helped me learn like everything. Aww. She like helped me with my singing and everything because she was there for theater and I was not. And then obviously like in college when I met Anthony, it really was probably pretty close to when we graduated too. He just randomly was like, "How do you know her?" And I told him everything. He's like, "That's my cousin." And I'm like, "No freaking way." And she's like in New York, and she's been like all over, and I just love watching her journey and thinking about little us in a log cabin, and now she's like a big shot, kind of.
Aww.
Yeah.
That's so fun. Yeah, it's such a small fucking world. I have a similar theater camp story about someone I ran into that happened to be in my group, but I'll save it for next episode.
Ooh, yay.
I probably will forget, but I'll open with the theater camp story if we remember in like
I'll
2 weeks.
Remember. I'll make a note of it.
I'll write it down. Anyway, thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice catching up with you, and hopefully we get back on a... So what, the next episode won't be next weekend, but the weekend after.
Sure.
I might be in, like, show mode for that.
Mm-hmm.
But we can definitely record one night. I don't think I have to be there for every show.
Mm-hmm.
So, we'll figure it out, and it'll be good, and I hope that we can get back into this, because I miss talking to you and doing with this,
yeah.
You know? Yeah. I think your microphone's dying. I can't hear you.
Oh.
Oh, now I can. All right, bye.